We are hopeless, selfish creatures, and we need a savior.
She was a total heathen.
All right, we're doing a podcast.
Hey everyone, it's your two Nomos. I'm Kate.
I'm Erika.
And welcome to another episode of Exmo.
Never know.
Walk into a bar.
It's your turn. So today we are going to be talking about missionaries, but before Mormon missions. But before we go into that, we will just mention again that we are shooting at LTH as we usually do. We love it here. We love the food. We love the drink, and we love all the people that we run into here. It's right here in Daybreak, and it makes us happy. So thanks again to them for letting us record here.
And just to remind you that the views that we express are ours, not theirs, and this is not faith affirming. So if you're looking to have your faith in the Mormon Church affirmed, you can look elsewhere.
This is not the podcast for you.
Right.
So we're going to talk about Mormon missions and missionaries. So I'll let you know way more about this than I do. I know a little bit because I've lived here. They've come knocking on my door. I actually love it when they do because I get to grill them. They usually walk away with their heads hung low. Damn it, don't knock on that door again.
And then they do.
Why don't you kick off with all things Mormon missionary?
Sure. First, we want to talk about how it is in the mainstream media because of the creators of South Park who did the Book of Mormon musical, which is amazing, by the way. Have you seen it?
That was by the creators of South...
Yeah, it was the creators of South Park that
I
did
didn't
it.
actually know that.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense. And I did see it. I saw it. One of my very good friends took me to it for one of my birthdays when I was living in Los Angeles. Little did I know I would be living in Mormon Central a mere 10, 12 something years later. I did love it, but I didn't have any understanding.
You didn't have the context, right?
Yeah, I didn't have the context. I knew of the Mormon religion and that it was kind of out there and a little bit funky, but I didn't know all the things. But I loved it anyway. And you saw it, right? I'm curious to think what you thought of it as an ex-Mormon.
I went and saw it last summer. I took Theo. We were in New York City, and we went to see it, and I laughed my ass off. It was so funny, and it was surprisingly accurate. I mean, there were a few things that were a little different, but for people who had never been raised Mormon, I thought they did a stellar job at what Mormon missionaries were like. From the clean, hello, my name is
Elder Price.
So great.
That is one of the things that I love the most about it, especially now. And I think when I saw it, that was I thought that was kind of a joke. This real
oh no,
diddly do, like that, the Mormon sheen. I thought that was exaggerated. It's not. And that's what's so funny about thinking back to it. And when I hear it now, whenever I've heard the music, because I've used it for some of our promos for different things. At first I was a little triggered after I left employment in Mormon Central. I heard it for the first time, and I was using the ad, the Book of Mormon. And I was like, because so many people at work were like, hi. And I was always like, what the fuck is happening? Why do people sound like this? And when I heard the musical again, I was like, ooh, they nailed it. This saccharine sheen. And now I think it's funny. I can't stop listening to it because I'm like, oh my God, this is so real.
Right.
It is totally bananas to me.
Right.
But I love it. And I love the music. I'm curious also though what your kid thought of it, because your kid at the time was 17.
17, yeah. We went and had a great time.
Because it's pretty there's some filthy cars. Isn't someone running around with a giant dildo at one point?
And the play they do, there are certain things I don't even want to talk about in this podcast. But there were parts where I was like, oh, well, I mean, it was offensive to me. And I looked at Theo. I'm like, I'm sorry. And they're like, that was nothing I haven't heard in high school.
I'm used to it. There's all that. Fine. That's awesome.
But yeah, so the Book of Mormon musical brought, it's shown a spotlight on Mormon missionaries. And, but it's a little different from that in a lot of ways. So just kind of tell you about what it's like in the Mormon church. like anything, you're indoctrinated from the time you're little. So in primary, from ages 3 to 11, they sing like, I hope they call me on a mission when I have grown a foot or two.
I want to go back to one thing, because you just made a statement before you started this, and you said, like anything, you're indoctrinated from the time. Nope. That is not.
No, I mean like the Mormon kids. Are,
Okay, got it. I thought you were like, like everybody's indoctrinated. I was like, oh no, this is another piece that needs to be like peeled back.
No, I mean, we talked about, I love to see the temple. Like, you sing the songs and you hear the lessons from the time you're like in diapers. And also as a boy, especially in the church, it's like, this is your solemn priesthood duty. You have to. For girls, it's an option.
It is required of boys.
It's required of boys. And if you don't go,
you can't get your temple recommend.
Well, you can, but you are also viewed. I mean, you're ostracized by your community. Maybe not ostracized, but they do judge you. Like, what's wrong with you? Did you have sex? Is that why you couldn't go? I mean, it's expected of the young men to go.
So that puts even more of, I didn't understand that actually. I thought it was like, it was strongly encouraged, but I didn't understand that it was almost sort of required. And it puts even more of kind of a layer of darkness. And we had Jamie Soleil on several episodes ago, and she talked about her experiences as a missionary and, starting to go and then having her girlfriend. She's a trans woman. Her girlfriend at the time had told the bishop, brought them in for interviews, and her girlfriend said, we've done some zipper sparking or whatever.
Zipper sparking.
I think that's what kids call it. I heard that on a TikTok video.
Not dry humping? Dry humping.
No, that's what we did.
Oh, what's what we...
Well, we called it dry
you did.
walling.
I don't know where
yeah. Oh, you missed out.
Well, I missed out.
It was a lot of fun. We called it drywalling in my town for some reason. Or maybe it was just me and my best friend called it drywalling. Anyway. So, but she was, because her girlfriend had sort of outed both of them and given into the bishop and said, yeah, here's what we've been doing. And I think they might have even been doing a little more than zipper sparking. But they were both called out of their missions. So that's in another layer of darkness, because especially for her, who was a he at the time, just not being able to do that, and the shame of that, and people knowing or speculating why were you not worthy to go do that, which makes it's not just like, oh, I decided to go to college instead, right? Which is pretty dark and awful and kind of a little bit disturbing for young people.
Right. And there's also the idea of those who go on missions are like more spiritually superior to those that don't. And I admit my guilt to this. My first husband was a convert to the church, so he had not served a mission.
Oh.
And so I was always like, well, I understand the gospel in a way that you don't. And it's terrible. I mean, I hate admitting that, but I know I'm not alone.
Yeah, no, of course you're not. And you should not. I don't think any ex-Mormons should feel shame about. A lot of Mormons will say, I'm sorry for what I said when I was Mormon.
Right.
And I don't think that they should have to say that, because they've done enough apologizing for themselves over the years. It is leadership's fault. It is strictly what leadership puts on people and makes them believe and indoctrinates them to believe. So I don't think that you should feel shame or embarrassed about any of those
I don't think I
things.
am, but I just look at that and how much I've grown since then. Now I'm like, if you don't serve a mission, rock on, you.
Yay!
Hooray. So I do want to talk in this episode a little bit about the history of LDS missions and how things have changed over time. So this has always been a thing in the LDS church. In fact, before the church was even organized, Joseph Smith was talking about the importance of serving a mission. So in Doctrine and Covenants, the Doctrine of the Covenant.
The Doctrine of the Covenant. It's from many episodes ago when I was confused about what that was.
Right. So in 1829, there was a scripture in the Doctrine and Covenants saying, like, go serve a mission, the field is white, ready to harvest, yada yada, which like people had to memorize. And then and then the church wasn't organized till 1830.
And you're talking about harvesting people
Yes,
in this instance.
people. You harvest people.
That's not creepy at all. That doesn't sound like the Matrix harvesting from humans at all. Like the image that conjures in my head is just like this sort of, which is true, this like giant organization like sucking on people and harvesting their stuff.
Your organs. We harvest organs. That's what we do. The heart. We're harvesting your heart. No, sorry. This is getting a little dark. But anyhow, so missionary work was talked about a year before the church was organized. And then once it was, Joseph Smith's like, all right, you're going on missions. And so he would send like adult men, married men, out on missions to North America and then to England. And then he'd marry their wives. Yeah, then it was polyandry. He's like, well, while he's gone, you're getting sealed to me.
So this is firing on several cylinders for him because it's getting people to go out on their own dime to get other people to come in and give money to the church. And he's getting the wives of the people who are doing this labor for him in basically a Ponzi scheme and bringing him, harvesting him more humans to pay tithing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Win-win, Joseph Smith.
Right. It's loads of fun. But and he also did this after, I found out here that after the church was organized and he sends them out, later on in 1844, he declared his candidacy for president of the United States. And then Brigham Young said in a general conference that elders will be called both to preach the gospel and to electioneer. So they're going out to preach the gospel and vote for Joseph. Yeah.
Wow. So glad he didn't succeed in that.
Oh, aren't we all? Aren't we all? Later on, I mean, these were just men. And then later on, they're like, single women should be able to go because women are able to reach people in the way that men aren't, which is what I received in my patriarchal blessing. You need to go because you're a woman.
You can actually do something that a man cannot.
Right.
Outside of giving birth, which they actually sort of bestow upon men with baptism anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. And then later, it wasn't until 1947 they said that youth and middle-aged individuals can go.
So before that, you could only go when you were like 18, 19?
Or no, I think when you were a grown adult. I think
you could have made your ex go.
I could have made my ex go.
You go on a mission. You haven't served.
Right.
I could just see him.
And then the war era, like the 1840s, they later they used to say like, you can't go on a mission, you've got to serve at the draft or whatever. But later after the war, they said, yay, we need to invite young men and middle-aged men to go on missions. Then our favorite part is the 1950s and 60s. We heard about this from John Boleyn in his Sunstone talk, the baseball baptisms.
Oh, this is awesome.
Isn't it great? So in the 50s and 60s in England, this is where they were working so hard at getting convert baptisms, so much that the missionaries would ask these boys to join their baseball teams. But the prerequisite was that they were baptized into the church.
And this is at a time when everyone wanted to play baseball. It was like the time for baseball in the United States of America. So every little boy wanted to be doing this. And so sign me up. And they didn't. And the particularly jarring part about it was that no one was sort of keeping tabs on them. Say, go play baseball with these guys during the day and then say, all right, come back. You're all getting baptized.
In this section of our podcast, we had technical difficulties editing. Please stand by.
Okay, so I know about like paying for your own mission, but my thought about it was you buy your plane ticket, you buy your housing, but now I'm realizing that's probably not true. You give the money to the church and the church does all of the things for you.
Yeah.
Which means the church is probably even taking a cut of all instead of, if it cost you $10,000 to go, the cost is actually probably less than that considering do they put you up in Mormon housing or do they put you up in a hotel?
No, in Mormon housing, they would find an apartment or they'd find
But it's probably all stuff that they already own. My guess is they're making money on that money.
Probably.
Anyway.
We can speculate. I don't know.
We don't know for sure. That's just my own speculation because that seems how they seem to do everything else. But can we pause here for 1 second?
Sure.
Because that for anyone outside who has not lived here for any length of time or doesn't know the how what's the word I'm looking for? The extortion, the coercion, the manipulation, and the using of people is astronomical. So what is happening here is a Mormon mission is basically to go out and get more people to be Mormon, which means you get 10%. The Mormon church gets 10% of the income of anyone that is baptized, 10% of the allowance of any children of the family that are baptized. And they're also telling these people as they grow up, make lots of babies that are also going to give them 10% of their income. Not only does the Mormon church not pay for the missionaries to go out, these people are going out there essentially an MLM. They're working for an MLM without the hope of ever making money themselves. They're being extorted and used, and like it was jaw-dropping to me when I learned that, because at one point I think I thought that the church paid for people to go on their missions, but that is not the case. The church is absolutely using these people. And I want you to talk a little bit about, I know this has changed somewhat now, but back in the day, being on a Mormon mission was somewhat excruciating in terms of the hours of work. Talk about a little bit about the details of what that looks like, because it's not, you're going out and you're having fun and you talk to mom and dad every Tuesday. It's grueling, right? And very, very, very restrictive.
Yeah, I do want to talk about that, what a Mormon mission looks like. So they do extort you. They indoctrinate you from the child that you need to save up money to go on your own mission. It was $400 a month until COVID hit. And then they're like, $500 a month is what they said, because it just became that much more expensive for the church. Oh, poor church. They don't have enough money to cover
They're broke,
those missions.
so.
I know, right? Obedience is the first principle of a mission. Like, you have to be obedient. When I served, they had like a little white handbook. We called it our little white Bible that had all of the rules. These are the things you need to do in order to be obedient. And then they want you to be exactly obedient in everything, which doesn't like teach you perfectionism at all, right?
No, this is giving me a whole lot of insight into the things about you.
Thank you. All my trauma coming back, right? But so a day in the life of a Mormon mission is you get up early and you have to spend a certain amount of time. I've blocked out a bunch of this. It was well over like 25 years ago, so I don't remember it all. But you'd go and you'd study for a bunch in the morning with your companion, and then you'd get ready and you would go and you'd spend 6 days a week proselyting full time. So that included like making contacts with missionary or members, with potential missionary or members. That's where tracting comes in. The hello, my name is like tracting is just knocking doors and hoping you would find someone, which they've learned is less effective. So you'd rather make contact, like real contacts with people. Like you're walking down the street and you're at the grocery store, or like wherever you are, just like finding that
and slipping that into the conversation.
Yeah.
What's the opening line to that?
Like, I don't know. You have your badge on.
Have you heard the truth? Have you heard the good news?
Pretty much.
Is that it?
Yeah, it's like, we're members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So we believe in Jesus. Would you like to hear more? It's just kind of like a sales pitch. You have to have an elevator pitch, right? Yeah. For this sort of thing. And some people are like, fuck off. And other people are like, oh, I'm going through a really hard time in my life. I would love to hear more.
Maybe they're showing up right now because I need them.
Because they also, I mean, you're taught to prey on the vulnerable. Mm-hmm. You're like, look for the people who have had, all those problems in their life that have travesties, like you're going to come in and you're going to rescue them. So you're proselyting all the time. And then you try to have and then the members will often do their duty by having the missionaries over to feed them. But you'd also have to share a spiritual message with the members of the church and invite them to, who do you know that would benefit from the church? Like, it's an MLM. It really is. Like, you need to sit and you need to pray until you can think of someone in your own life who would benefit. Like, give me a referral. Give me a damn referral so I don't have to knock on those doors because I hate it. And then every once a week, you'd have a P day, which is your preparation day, where you could spend the day like cleaning, doing laundry, and go have some fun. You would be able to go have fun that day.
Which consisted of
Well, I mean, I did have some fun P days. We went to like a safari thing. I was in Florida, Fort Lauderdale. So, I mean, sometimes we would go with the members and go on our limited budget because they would give you a little bit of spending money. But, you know, you had
but
to
it
keep
was
it-
your own money
yeah,
that you
pretty
paid
much.
into it.
But
That
the
was-
mission president, yeah, they'd give you back a little bit of money you could spend.
At least they did that. They could
Yeah.
say no, screw yourself. Like bring your own spending money. At least they did that. Give credit
Right.
where credit's due.
Right. And so you were able to go with your little limited budget and you could go do fun things.
But curiously,
Mm-hmm.
I learned, I think, maybe you can correct me. I saw this in one of Alyssa Grunfall's videos. She talked about Mormon missions. No swimming.
No swimming.
No matter where you are. So if you're stationed in Florida or
On Miami Beach, by
on
the
Miami
way.
Beach or anywhere, what the hell is that? Just because you're filthy, your body's
No,
filthy?
because Satan has reign over the waters. Yeah.
And here I thought it was Neptune.
No, it's Satan. So yeah, we weren't even,
Poseidon.
we were not even allowed to touch the sand on my mission,
What?
except for 2 times.
He lives in the sand and in the water?
Well,
he's everywhere.
No, on the sand they have like a really attractive. I mean, think about Miami Beach. Women running
In
around with their string
thongs.
bikini
Yeah.
thongs. Men like totally ripped and just.
Yeah, you would have been.
And you're
drooling.
horny. Yeah, I was. I was like, but Miami Beach, I think I mentioned this before. Like I would see these big, buff, beautiful, bronzed men walking hand in hand down the street because it was like the gay capital of the U.S. at that time. And I was like, oh, that's a thing.
This
Homosexuality is a
happens?
thing. What? Oh, maybe I'll look for someone very homely. Is what I thought.
You didn't try to save any of them, did you?
No, I did
Oh,
not.
that's good.
I
That's
did
good.
not.
Although it would have made for a juicy story.
Hubby, hubba, hubba.
Hubba, hubba.
Oh, they weren't Hispanic. I couldn't approach them anyway. But yeah. So you'd have this P day, and you would be able to do a fun thing, I guess, once a week. So
Like pray or clean.
well, you had to do that in the morning.
I know you had actual fun. You get to go to a safari or something.
Yeah.
As long as you weren't in the water.
As long as you weren't in the water.
What about in the shower? Is Satan in the shower?
No,
Or like, if you close your eyes, is it okay? No, he's just not in the shower.
you just on the show.
Only in the ocean ponds too.
Yeah, you can go to the
Hot
lake or
tubs?
the.
Like where?
No, you didn't even have a swimming suit. You could not bring a swimsuit on your mission. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's filthy. Even
It
ones that
is
go down to
filthy.
your ankles. I've seen those a lot here, to the wrist and to the ankles.
I should have asked. I should have pushed back a little bit.
Yeah, can I bring a wetsuit? What are the parameters of this exactly? That would have been me.
No, on your packing list, like no swimsuit. I don't know if it said that, but you just assume no, you can't go swimming. So on the P day, one of my favorite P days was when we got permission to leave our little area, because you're not allowed to leave the area you were assigned to, or you're in big trouble. Definitely could not leave the mission boundaries. Bad news if you were to do that because you weren't being obedient. But we got permission to go to Hollywood, Florida, where they were showing this film called God's Army that came out.
No.
Either 2000, 2001 when I was there. But every missionary in the mission, like, congregated at this point. You'd have to get a ride with like members because they didn't want to spend the gas money. So we ran up, like we went with some of the members but we met at this movie theater and I got to see people from my mission that we had only heard of or former companions or something like that. Yay, so good to see you again. And we watched God's Army, which was a church film about Mormon missionaries. And
Did you love it? Were you like, did it make you feel?
Loved it.
You did. It made you feel really good about all that you were doing.
Except for the one part where in the mission, because it was like these elders and these sisters on the mission. When the elders turned to the sisters like, oh, you couldn't get married. That's why you're going on a mission, right? And all the elders in the theater were like, and they'd point their fingers at us. Yeah, that the sisters were like, shut up. That's not why I came. I wanted to serve the Lord.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but that's really what it was.
And also you're like 18 at this time.
No, 21. Girls
21.
couldn't go until they're 21.
Oh, right. That's changed recently to 19.
It's
right?
recently
Or
changed to
20?
19 for
Yeah.
girls, but
And
in my day it was 21. So you
But
had plenty
still,
of time.
like, that's not why you're not married at 21. And here I know, like now from living here, you're old maid by 22. You got to get married. So, but it's
Right.
like it's pretty bananas.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
Oh, but I was going to mention also on P Day, you only had like the first, I don't know, until maybe 4 or 5 o'clock. And then you had a proselyte that evening. So you were not allowed to have a full day to yourself. It was always just so damn structured. You had to do X, Y, and Z, and you had to be exactly obedient. And what the hell? You don't need a lot of time for personal growth. We're going to bring you back in, and we're going to make you work every fucking day of your mission for 365 days a year.
And it's for 2 years?
For 2 years for the young men, 18 months for the young women.
That's
Because they want you to get home and you get married and start popping out the babies, sisters.
So you have, I mean, essentially no day off when you're doing this. You're constantly working for the church. You are paying your own way. And it's all to bring in more money for the church, which is bonkers and horrible. But then there's also, there are some additional rules. Like you can basically only be alone to poop, right?
Yeah.
That's the only time you're alone is when you're taking a shit.
Or shower.
Or
we
shower.
did not shower together.
That's probably good.
Bathroom time was the only time you were alone. Every other moment you had to be with your companion. You had to be in their sight. You had to be able to hear them and see them.
And that would have broken me. There's no way I could have done that. I would have like shut down.
Mm-hmm.
What do introverts do?
They suck it up and they deal with it because God's going to bless them. They're going to give, I don't know.
For like being the way and the truth and whatever, there's such tight reins. It makes me think they don't actually believe it. If they have to control people so much, it feels like maybe that's not really the truth.
You think? And they're sending these young kids like right out of high school, jumping from high school into their mission, because earlier in the church, they would say like, you can go like after you've gone and done a year of school, you've done missionary or military service. That's totally cool. But now they're like, we're getting you now. And you can do that stuff later. But we need to indoctrinate you while you're young because too many people leave the church during those gap years. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, they've got to get them. I mean, now with like the internet, people have access to information. And once they have a little time away and they're maybe away from their family, maybe at college, they have time to kind of look at things, find the CES letter, find discrepancies and go like, I'm not doing this, and be able to be with their own thoughts. And I guess that's the whole point, is to be able to separate you from your own thoughts for as long as possible, get you through a mission, at least get you to get other people into the religion, even if maybe you're going to leave later, hopefully hold on to you, and then get you married right away, which is another like link to you and the church, or something that links you to the church, and then get you to start popping out babies, which is another link to the church, and makes it even more difficult to leave. So it's all very regimented and coercive and thought out in terms of really sinking its hooks into people.
Right.
But I will say, at least you can talk to your parents once a week, right?
You could. Yeah. Except for when things got hard and people started leaving their missions, they had mental breakdowns. I had a major mental breakdown.
But you couldn't. Like, you were allowed to talk to them twice a year.
Twice a year on Mother's Day and Christmas were the 2 days you could speak to your parents on the phone. Otherwise, you were sending them letters once a week. I remember on my mission.
18 years old.
I was 21. No, I was 21.
But still 20. I mean,
yeah, you're barely into your adulthood, and you have these challenges. But the church, like later, when my notes say in like 2012, I think was when they said, oh yeah, I remember this announcement. It was in general conference. They're like, men, you can serve at 18, and women, you can serve at 19. And we were like, whoa, this is so inspired, and everybody cheered. Yay, I can serve my mission earlier. And then I think that's also about the time that they said, you can call home like once a week, and you can Zoom, you could Skype, whatever. But when I was on my mission in the 2000s, I remember going on like early 2000s, I went to Burger King, like one of my P days, and we were supposed to write letters to our parents, but it had like free Wi-Fi computer where you can, and so I emailed my parents. Yay, parents! This is I got in so much trouble for that.
How did they know?
I think I mentioned it to one of the missionaries, one of the elders. I was like, yeah, I just sent an email. It's super cool because email is this new exciting thing, and I was able to get that message to my parents really quick. And they're like, you did what? You're not allowed to do that. You're supposed to use pen and paper. They ripped into me for using
You're like,
this
it's
technology.
new pen and paper. It's called email.
Oh, but at the time I was breaking the rules, and so they laid into me. Yeah.
That is bananas. And I can't even like sort of fathom. Like there must be research behind it that there's some link to being able to speak with your family and leaving your post versus, but even in the military, you can freaking call your family like once a week at least. I think, I don't know, I'm not in the military, I don't, but like from what I've heard, like you can at least do that, but they must have had some reason behind for themselves selfishly, because it doesn't make any sense. I would think that as a Mormon kid, it would make more sense to allow kids to be able to talk to their parents, because their parents are clearly in it to win it. They're going to want to encourage their kids to stay, but maybe the hardship of it, too many kids were like, "Mommy, I want to come home." And Mommy was like, "Okay," and they had to, put the kibosh on that, so that they weren't getting coddled or whatever.
I think a lot of us got homesick. Like, of course you get homesick. You can't talk to your family, you can't talk to your friends, except for letters once a week. You're able to write letters to people. Sometimes they send you care packages. I'm thinking of you, and I mean, I loved getting care packages because, like, nobody's forgotten about me. Hooray! So it was helpful for that reason, but. Yeah, I think the church had enough people complaining about it and having mental breakdowns that I think the church is like, oh, maybe we should do this. And the fortunate thing is coming home from a mission early because of mental and physical challenges has become a lot less stigmatized. But back when I served, I had a full-blown mental breakdown. Like the first 9 months of my mission, I didn't have a period for the first 9 months of my mission, because I was so damn stressed all of the time. And went to my mission president's wife, because you don't talk to your mission president about this. And I'm like, I haven't had a period. And she's like, oh, that happens to a lot of sisters.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
No, right?
And that's not okay, because that actually messes up your reproductive organs. It's really bad for that to happen.
Yeah, and the fact that there was that kind of stress that was affecting my body. People got sick. People were dealing with things. And I had such a difficult time on the mission because of the
I can't imagine why. It sounds like Shangri-La.
I know, because you're homesick, you are taught this perfectionism, and you're comparing yourself to other missionaries all the time. Oh, so and so got like 5 baptisms this month, and I didn't get a single one. I must be a shitty missionary, right? Sort of thing. So I had like serious mental health challenges, and I went to my mission president about this. And he was like, "Oh, you're fine." I mentioned this in a previous episode. He's like, "You're fine. Elder so and so, he's got mental health challenges. Elder so and so, he's depressed. You'll be fine." And if I was in a foreign country, there's nothing I could have done about it, because he holds onto your passport, and you're not able to go home because without your mission president say, you are like a prisoner in your mission. Goosebumps. Yeah.
That is unfathomable to me, that they're holding onto your passport like you're a fucking prisoner. That is banana. I would have had a full on meltdown. I just, like, that would be totally, like, not bearable for me. And I remember at another weird job I almost took in Los Angeles as an actor. We could go, they were doing like military training, and you had to go like live in these sand huts out in the desert and just be ready for, like, they were doing training. So it was, God, what time period would this be? It was after Desert Storm, but maybe when we were invading again, whatever. In any case, so you just had to like live in these huts and then be ready for, like, when the military came in and like took you out. We're supposed to be like Iraqi, little families living in there, whatever. They would take your phone, and I was like, and it paid really well. And I was like, I talked to my dad about it. I was like, I don't think I can do that, because I think I'm gonna, even though I got accepted for it, and I was like, I just don't, even though it paid a shit ton of money, it was like $10,000 for the week or something like that. And I was like, I can't. I just, like, I think I'm going to he was like, I don't think you should do it. It's going to be too bad for your mental health. And this sounds in some ways similar to that, and not exactly, but similar. And in some way, like, one, I would have totally had a meltdown doing that. But two, and thinking about it, I'm racking my brain for like a comparable experience for anyone else. And I can't think of anything. Like, even being in the military, even in boot camp, which is terrible and sucks and is really difficult, I don't think it's even like quite that like stringent and strict in terms of what you can do. I don't know when you can call home during boot camp. Maybe that is the one thing, but like to do that to a bunch of kids, especially Mormon kids who are like super shelters is bananas, and sending them to a new place when a lot of them probably haven't been to places like that before, or even out of their town, or many of them out of Utah. And then not being able to talk to their parents, like how that in and of itself sounds totally traumatizing to me.
Yeah. And it was for a lot of people. And since then, I've known a lot of people who have come home early from their missions because they couldn't cut it. It was too psychologically damaging. But the church, as we've mentioned in a previous episode, is kind of like mental health is it's an important thing. You need to get help for it, just as you would get help for like a physical condition. You should get it. But that was after my mission that they mentioned this sort of thing, which is why I was kind of held hostage. And I mean, you don't have money to go buy a plane ticket. And had I chosen to get a plane ticket and gone home, the shame that I would have had, my community would have been like, you couldn't handle this. What is wrong?
You must have felt really stuck in terms of like, this is hell and I want to get the fuck out of here. But if I go home, the shame is going to be so much worse. So I have to stay. Oh,
so
I'm sorry. That's terrible.
It was pretty shitty, but halfway through my mission, about 9 months into my mission, and we would do this thing like sisters when they made it halfway, like 9 months, we'd like put a pillow in our dress and we'd take a picture like 9 months. We pretend we were pregnant at 9 months because we made it way.
Oh my God.
You had to celebrate somehow.
I guess so. You don't,
Right.
You're not like smoking the pot or drinking the beer. So you got to celebrate with a fake pregnancy, as anyone would do.
Yeah. Which, because you'd never experienced it, but you could always imagine one day I'll have sex. It'll be good.
After I come home from my mission.
Yeah, because in your exit interview, before you went home, the mission president was like, now it's your job to go get your eternal companion. You've been trained with like these companions on your mission. Now it's time for you to go home and find your eternal one. Yeah. Erika's face right now.
I just like, I mean, oh man, I would have been so fucked up. I just know my personality, and being told all this stuff, I would have been in knots about all of it. Or I would have gone totally bananas. I would have gone on mission and been like, woohoo, party in Miami Beach, bitches. Like, I would have just like gone the other way. I just like, I can't even.
Some missionaries did. Some missionaries
Good for
did.
them. That's
I heard a story on our mission, because you always hear the rumors. I heard of 2 elders like down in the Key West area. I got to serve in Key West for a little while as well. But the elders before me got a job. I mean, they were working a job at like a gas station because they're like, fuck this. I'm going to get paid for while I'm out here.
Smart kids, very smart kids. And I also, this leads me into something else, which is interesting. And it's something that I didn't know until I moved here. The very, very first missionaries knocked on our door. Oh my God, poor kids. If you guys see this, I'm sorry, because I don't think I was that nice to you. But they knocked on our door and we just got in here, and we were having a little cocktail hour, so it was a little boozy. And but first they showed up and they had elder so-and-so and elder so-and-so. They're all of, 19 years old. And I saw their name and they said, I'm elder so-and-so, I'm elder so-and-so. And I said, elder? I had no idea, and I forgot about the play, or I didn't even make the connection. But I was like, you guys are elders? I was like, how old are you guys? Oh, 19 and I'm 20. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. You're not elders. And we're like, uh-oh, we knocked on the wrong door. And then I was like, what about the...
I can totally see you saying that.
Oh, it gets worse. So then I was like, so are there lady missionaries? Are there girl missionaries? Yeah, there are. Oh, okay. What are they? Are they elders too? No. And I was like, okay, what are they? And they're like, they're sister so-and-so. And I was like, why would I ever join an organization that so clearly prioritizes and elevates men above women? And they're like, what are you talking about? I was like, why aren't you brother and sister? Or why aren't you both elders? Oh, no, that's just a name, blah, blah, blah. They didn't come back. And they left pretty...
What?
They left pretty quickly. The next thing I said is, I said, could you... Oh, no. I said, could you please answer a question for me? And they said, yeah, sure. And I said, why does God need a penis? I said, what does he do with it? Does he urinate? Does he masturbate? Does he fornicate?
Oh, my God.
And they were like, oh, and they were like, I was like, it's a he, right? It's a he, Heavenly Father, right? And they were like, yeah. I was like, so he has a penis. What does he use it for?
I'm
sorry.
turning red right now. As a former sister missionary, I would have been horrified.
Yeah, they were horrified. They were just like, okay, thank you, bye. And I actually feel a little bit bad about that. It was when I first got here, and I was,
You haven't changed a whole lot.
I know I have. I'm a little bit less harsh. Like, I don't think I would say it exactly in the same way.
Yeah.
I'll definitely still grill and say things, but that was a little like that. I could, now that I know a little bit more about them and about like people that age and Mormons, it was they probably never heard the word penis before in their lives. So like
That's not true, because the elders that I knew, like in the missionary training center, and like they're horny teenage boys. Of course they knew this. When we were in the MTC learning Spanish, of course the elder missionaries were looking up all the dirty words. Really, I know how to say this, because they're like immature little 19-year-olds.
Yeah.
But to go with your conversation, how like the elders are above the sisters, and they're 2 years younger than you are, and they're above you in power and authority.
Of course.
And they could be like,
Because of the penis.
they could be APs, like assistants to the president, and district leaders and zone leaders. We're all men. They were all these young men, and these young women are just like, I have to look up to this kid who's like 2-3 years younger than me as my leader in this area. And so that was fun. I think there was, of course, whenever there's pushback in the church, eventually they relent. So it was in 2013, sisters were finally given leadership skills. Like, they could be a sister leader in the mission. I don't know what that means, because I didn't get that opportunity. I had served a long time before that, but
it's still probably below elder leaders.
Yeah, of
right?
course they are. Of course, because
They
they don't.
never put women on a par with men.
No.
They always,
No.
whatever they elevate, they have to elevate men
Right.
more. We have to be behind.
Right.
We're so clearly second class.
Right.
It's the lady brain.
It's the lady brain. It's the horny young lady brain and the horny young man brain, and they're thrown out there. You can't date while in your mission. You're thrown into this mission where you're so horny, and you can't do anything about it.
No soaking even.
No soaking even. Although I do know some people that did. And our mission was what we called the false mission, because a lot of missionaries got sent home from my mission.
For
Because,
soaking.
oh, who knows?
But it's a loophole, I thought.
Right. One of my former companions, I was in a threesome. No, but I was in a situation where there were 3 of us serving in Key West at this time. And I was asleep at night. I was a deep sleeper. And one of the other companions is like, get up, sister so-and-so. I'm not going to say my name, but get up, sister, because the other sister's gone. And it was like middle of the night. And we were panicking, like, where the hell is she? Because you're not supposed to leave your companion. You can't not be inside of each other. Found her walking down the street at like 2 a.m. And we were like, welcome, shame. No, but we were like, what the hell have you been doing? And we didn't say hell. What the heck have you been doing? And she said, oh, I was just going for a walk. No, we found out later she was meeting up with one of the members in the ward that she had this thing for. They had this mutual thing for. She was sent home later because she was breaking the mission rules and acting out on her thing. And I had a second companion too. Like, she was sent home before we learned that she had been doing the same thing, like sneaking out. And I didn't wake up. I never woke up. We were just the 2 of us, and I felt so damn guilty. Like,
you should have caught her?
I should have caught her. I should have been responsible. I should have had that spirit of discernment to realize that she was doing this sort of thing. And my mission president's wife was like, oh my gosh, where did I fail? Because we're supposed to be responsible for other people's actions in this mission. Yeah. So we were the false mission. But you're surrounded by gorgeous people on Miami Beach all of the time, and you've got feelings and hormones and one thing and another. So
that's why they need to rein it in so much. That's why they need to have total control over everybody, because they can't not send people to places like that, because there is definitely this population there that might be a little bit more vulnerable, especially in the United States, probably especially today. So you got to send, those are the people you want to target, the most vulnerable, because those are the most likely to be able to acquiesce and feel like they're gaining something. So they still have to send people there, but they know that there's these temptations. They have to have this sort of iron grasp on everybody and what they're doing.
Right. Oof, indeed. It was pretty bad. And if you're gay and on your mission, oh, that's gotta suck because you're with a companion. I mean, I'm not, but I can imagine what it would be like if I were with a companion that I was attracted to. And I've known of missionaries that kind of acted out, like try to approach the other. And I know missionaries had the shit beaten out of them on their mission because the elders found out, oh, you're gay. I'm not. They would beat these poor missionaries because they, wow,
Because they were threatened.
because they were threatened by homosexuality, and then these poor gay missionaries that had to endure this kind of thing and then come home and with so much shame for being who they are. And we've talked about homosexuality, but homosexuality on a mission is suck.
Well, and Samuel Nieves talked about that.
Sam did, yeah.
So, and that was somebody that we worked with. He works with the Conversion Therapy Survivor Network. We worked with him over Pride, and we had an episode with him actually, and he talked specifically about how difficult it was to be on mission as a gay man. I think they even. Maybe it was on his mission, maybe it was somewhere else. We shot this episode a while ago, but he said he actually had to like shower with other men and was like, oh, wow. Which is, tricky if you're
Right.
or impossible. Or you would like get up early and like shower before everybody else to like, be out of any temptation's way. But yeah, it's that's gnarly. I can't imagine.
I can't either. Fortunately for me personally, the first 9 months were hell, like absolute hell for me. I cried a lot. I was trying to go home. I did get therapy while I was out there with LDS Family Services. Helpful, right? But it was like I got a medication. I got some therapy. I had a companion who changed my life because she didn't try to fix me. The second half of my mission was amazing, and part of that was that there was an elder on my mission. Oh my god, I was so crazy about this guy. And I could tell it was mutual. Like he had a thing for me too, because I was happier and I had like the spirit about me or whatever. So I had like that hope to hold on to, like, and like we're gonna get married, and there were like also members in the ward that we'd served in, and they're like, Hermana, I can see that there's something between you two. I'm like, oh, stop. I do not. I can see that there's something. I know that you two are going to get married. Like people are telling me who I'm going to get married to. Oh, and if you're like a youth in the mission where the elders are serving or the sisters are serving, a lot of people in the mission, like just people who are in the ward, like not missionaries, totally fell head over heels for these missionaries. And a bunch of them did, like, have relationships with a member in the ward, but you were told to lock your heart. You were not supposed to, like, fall in love. You lock your heart while you're on your mission because you have to have your eyes single to God and glory. So I was kind of breaking the rules by falling for this guy, but at the same time, he gave me the hope that things would turn out. Well, we never did get married. Like, that's another story entirely, but for that while.
And he probably gave you the sort of air to like get through the next 9 months of your mission. Like at least you had something to focus on that wasn't just like the day-to-day doldrums. Yeah. You had this guy, which totally makes sense. Which is funny because you would think like the church would understand you'd think that they would like capitalize on all that and be like, look, they could still have very strict rules. If it were me and I were manipulating this group of teenagers, I'd be like, well, let's have once a month sock hops or whatever. Right. And because that does get you through it. Obviously made you be able to sort of get through the entirety of your mission. And it just sort of makes sense for kids that age to have something instead of nothing. But the church probably knows best. They know what they're doing in terms of manipulation. This is why I am not the master manipulator.
Yeah, that's a mission in a nutshell. It could be. There are lots of cons to serving a mission, and just to go over them, like we've already talked about, a lot of these is day in life is just like the obedience. You have to make sure that you're towing the line, you're doing everything. So some of the cons is like, of course, the coercion, the exploitation, that time lost, like your valuable time as in your formative years. because everyone else is like off going to college or traveling or doing other things, and you're stuck doing this mission. Yes, you get the pride doing that sort of thing, but you're losing time, doing things. David Archuleta, who was a Mormon missionary, if you're familiar with him, he's a singer. He was on an American Idol. He was like second place, and now is just this star.
And he's one of her besties.
And he's one of my besties.
She met him on Good Morning America.
Yeah, it was so cool. But he took time from his mission to go. I mean, he took time from his singing career to go and serve a mission. And he's gay, and so he had to suffer through a whole shit ton of stuff. But put pause on your career. I mean, you can't, if you like have a scholarship to go to a school. Well, I'm sorry, I have to refuse that scholarship because I need to go
serve
this
the
mission,
Lord.
right? And he is going to bless me in other ways, and things are fine. Like people can get benefit, but you're losing that valuable time.
Yeah.
There is the mental and physical health challenges; they abound. And again, we mentioned that they've destigmatized people coming home from their mission. Before it was like shame, limited freedom, and the indoctrination. But there were pros of missionary work. They were just making a face.
I'm nodding and making a face.
Right. So ideally, missionaries will learn the value of hard work and selfless service. You're sacrificing your time and talents to
Make
the
money
needs
for
of
a
other
multi-billion organization.
At the time, you're thinking,
I know.
learning. You're thinking of serving these people.
And you think you're helping them and saving them.
Yeah, you do. You really do. And you're required to give X number of hours of service each week. Like you go and you serve at the animal shelter or a hospital or whatever, you can go and serve. You are introduced to different people and cultures, which I loved. I've mentioned before, like I going on this mission serving the Latinx people. I was born in the wrong culture. I love these people. Like, Hermana, and then you give the hugs and the besos, and you feel like so loved.
The food and the dancing.
And they know how to party, and you get to hang out with these amazing people. You learn to live with people you wouldn't necessarily get along with. Like you're put with a companion, and you have to learn how to get along with people, which can be, that could be a good lesson to learn. And you can make lifelong friendships. My friend Darla is going to be on a future episode, and she is one of my favorite people in the world. I got in a room with her. She was an English sister. I was Spanish, and we roomed together for the last 3 months of her mission, and dear friend that I wouldn't have met otherwise. So there are pros to serving a mission, but as we know that it's a net loss.
Yeah, and I will say I respect all of that, and I think for a lot of people that may have not been the case otherwise, but as a counterpoint, and we've talked about this. I did a lot of very similar things without any of the cons. Well, some of the cons I would say, but not like most of the cons. So, I went to I know you went to college too. I went to college. I double majored in biology and psychology. I definitely learned hard work while I was there. I also studied abroad twice, and I actually went to Ecuador. So both times, 2 different programs. But I learned Spanish while I was there. I learned about different about different cultures. And being in college, definitely had roommates that I had to learn to try to get along with as well. It was a little bit different. And I will say, when I first got to Ecuador, the very first time I was 19, I think I went, second semester, my sophomore year of college. And once I got there, I did have this sort of what the fuck am I doing? I'm so far away from home. Yeah. And I don't know the language. I had high school Spanish. And when I got off the plane, I started speaking Spanish with with my host father who picked me up. And then I broke into English because I didn't know enough Spanish to speak. And he was like, I am not going to speak English with you. He spoke English, but he was like, I'm not going to speak it with you. You're here to learn Spanish. And I was like, ugh. So I was very much thrown into it. And I got bronchitis shortly after. No, it was sinus infection. I got a sinus infection shortly after I got there. And I was really, it was gnarly. But I knew I could go home. And ultimately I didn't want to. I still had my passport.
You had to keep your
No
passport?
one took my passport from me. And I knew that if I was like, I can't handle this, I could get on a plane. And it took me, I want to say, probably about a month. I was there for 6 months that time. It took me about a month to like acclimate, find my friends, and then be like, I'm okay. So I had like some of the cons, but I never felt like I, ostracized or whatever. And I got a lot of the benefit without really most of those, like there are other ways to do that. And not that all students or kids or whatever do have those kinds of experiences. But you can have them without all of the trauma. Right. Would be my counterpoint.
No, and I think that's a really legit experience. And there are people who serve a mission and they get to go do the study abroad. I didn't, but I know a lot of people do have that experience. But they could have done that in place of the mission.
Yeah.
Where they could have saved more money, had less trauma. It could have been a much more rewarding experience for them. So I love that you had a chance to do that. Y hablamos español sometimes.
Y yo también.
Yeah.
Olvidé muchísimo, pero cuando quiero puedo hablar un poquito.
Look at her hablando español. It's pretty great. Yeah, and that was another benefit as I got to learn Spanish, though I did not get the immersive experience. I'd hoped and prayed for like a native companion, but like most of them were from Utah.
Yeah.
Gringas like me. That did it. Oh, another con of my mission was I gained 30 pounds on my mission. I was huge.
Red beans and rice didn't miss her.
No, because they're always like, hermana, come más. And you're like, hermana, I can't. But they would feed you all the time. And our sisters in my mission were in a car for the full year. The elders were like on their bikes, like sweating bullets. They had to go and change their shirts.
You guys weren't allowed to ride bikes. I think you told me this before.
Some sisters can. It depends on the mission. It depends on the mission. But in my mission, I had a car the full 18 months.
Well, and with all the time that you're like missioning and proselytizing, there's no time to exercise. Like
you can in the morning, but you have to
get up at like 4 or something.
Oh, well, I mean, they do give you that block of time, but I didn't as much as I should have. And like I came back as Hermanota. I was a big girl. But in other missions, I have a friend who served in the Philippines, lost a shit ton of weight, like came home like really, really emaciated because it just depends on where you go.
I actually gained weight when I was in Ecuador too, because they had just like really yummy food and this ají sauce that I loved. I would make sandwiches, just like it was like this spice hot sauce that I would just make a sandwich with that and like this cheese that they had and just eat that. And sometimes even without the cheese on the rice.
Right.
Yum. So good.
So we're going to have ourselves a trying moment.
Oh, this is a surprise to me. I didn't even know we were having one.
Yes. Now it's time for a trying moment.
And now it's time for a trying moment.
So this one is going to be called, like, is it real or fake? So I'm going to give you a mission rule from like the white handbook, what gave us all the rules. Okay. And you're going to tell me if it's a real rule or if it's fake.
Okay.
All right, here we go. And some of these you may already know, but we'll see. So this is real or fake. Missionaries must always stay within sight and hearing of their companion.
No, that's real.
Yeah.
I know that's real.
Yeah, except for in the bathroom, right?
Except for when you're pooping.
Except for when you poop or shower. Second one, and you would really like this rule. Missionaries are not allowed to whistle because it brings in the unclean spirits.
I hope it's true. Is it true?
It's false. Erika hates whistling.
I'm like, oh my God, sign me up. I'll be a Mormon. They make that rule.
Sometimes we're at the house and I start whistling. She's like, stop the whistling.
It feels like little knives flying into my ear. I have a condition.
And so I don't whistle around Erika anymore. Okay. So is this real or not real? One missionary must always get out of the car, if you have a car, and stand behind it while the others back up. The other missionary backs up. Real or fake?
Why would you need to do that? I say fake.
It is totally real.
What?
Yeah.
What?
It's the
He was trying to get me. I almost said that, but I was like, no way.
No, it is this legendary backup rule. So I was in a car the whole 2 years, and if my senior companion, the one who was training me or whatever, if my senior companion was driving, I would have to be back there like an air traffic controller, like making sure that she wasn't backing into anyone or anything. Yeah, for the full year and a half. every time. So if
Is it
missionaries,
because they're like afraid because it's like they're like, we hired friggin' teenagers to do this, or like 21-year-olds.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure they've only been driving for like 3 years.
Right.
We need to make sure.
it's legit. It's totally legit.
Oh my God, that is wild.
Yeah. Okay. Is it real or not real? Missionaries may not hold babies or small children.
I would say not real, and let me say why. Because don't they want you to like get the like, ooh, baby thing, so you want to like pop them out soon? So not real?
It's actually real. Because you don't want to be seen as a predator, right? I mean, of course, you're preying on these people, but
You're harvesting them.
true, but we're not going to like. I mean, I did it anyway. Oh my God, I totally did it anyway because they're like, Hermana. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love children.
I can't even believe that is a rule.
It's a rule, but I broke the rule. I'm sorry. Maybe that's why I am where I am today because I started going down the dark
going
path on my
straight to hell. That's it. You held the baby. It's all over. I can't believe you did that, Kate.
But
I
they were
can't
so
believe
damn
it.
cute. They were so cute.
They are cute.
Yeah.
I don't even like them that much, but they are cute. I can get into babies sometimes.
Okay, is this real or not real? Missionaries must knock exactly 3 times on every door so the spirit can enter.
I would say that's true.
That's not real.
I think that's a Jewish thing.
Maybe.
I'm not Jewish. I have Jewish ancestry. As someone pointed out to me, sort of maliciously on TikTok because of my nose, they could tell.
I wanted to kick his ass.
No, I actually know from Sex and the City because, like, when Charlotte wants to go become a Jew so she can marry Harry Goldenblatt, she has to go and knock, and she gets turned away, and she gets told, "No, you have to go knock 3 times." Then they know you're serious, so she'll go back, away, back,
Oh, really?
away, back, and then they're like, "Okay, you're serious. We will enter you into the." Training. So
Well,
that's
sex-
why I was like, oh, I don't know. Joseph stole a lot of shit from other people. Maybe he stole that from the
From
Jews.
the-
I don't know.
Or Sex in the City.
Or Sex in the City.
Sex in Kirtland. Yeah. The next one of our questions here is Mormon missionaries are required to pay for their missions, but mission presidents are paid by the church.
Oh, this is a trick question. I know the first part is true. The church does not pay a lot of people. But I could see that maybe they'd want to pay the mission president. So even though I'm sort of likely to say, like, I'm trying to read your face.
I'm going to have a poker face.
Even though I would say, my brain would say the church pays as few people as humanly possible so they can rake it all in for themselves and invest on property, maybe it would behoove them to pay a president. So I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say they pay the president.
It is true.
Huzzah!
Pay their mission president.
So they it's one of the like 18 people they
Yeah.
pay in the church ever.
So it was leaked from the 2006 mission president handbook that it says, while you're serving as mission president, the church reimburses the necessary living expenses for you, your wife, and your dependent children. Living expenses include
I
food,
forgot that it can't be a
clothing,
woman.
households, supplies, family activities.
You and your wife.
For you and your
Like,
wife
the
and
fact that
children.
but like, it's so funny to me that you just say that, like, you and your wife, because in my head, I'm picturing the mission president, and I know you said this before, but I'm picturing your mission president to be a woman as.
Oh,
like,
no,
you.
it's male.
Of course.
Of course it's male.
And like something that's written into in 2006, something that's written into, like, codified as like you and your wife, because it will never be a woman, is bananas. Like, it's just, could you imagine if we if we had that about, you know, anything else, like, doctor housing for you and your wife, because women can't be doctors.
Right.
I mean, like, that's bananas in 2006.
And now today.
And today, yes,
Right.
yes. But when it was legal.
This was so hush hush because mission presidents were not supposed to say, hey, I get a stipend for this, because it is a stipend, which is what makes it like tax exempt, because it's a stipend, not a salary. So that's fair, right? Everybody else is paying their way to be we're going to have you get paid.
But it also makes sense from the stance of the church, because they need to be able to sort of draw people in some way and have someone there to they have to basically have an Aunt Lydia
Right.
from Handmaid's Tale
Yeah,
to be
they
there
do.
and like
They do.
put the kibosh on.
And usually these
everyone in mind.
men, not
It
men,
wouldn't be a woman, it'd be an Uncle Lydia.
Yeah, I don't But the men, most of them are already rich anyway.
Right.
They have time. They can take 2 years, or I'm sorry, no, it's like 5 years for them to serve their missions. I mean, usually is where they can take time off because they're already wealthy.
And then they're just it's an all paid, all expenses
paid vacation where you get to be in charge of a whole bunch of snotty teenage boys. I mean, I wouldn't want to be a mission president. It sounds like a lot of drama, but at the same time, come on, we had to pay our way and they're getting paid. Couple more things that I'm going to ask for you.
Okay.
Missionaries must write their mission president weekly with a full report of how things went for the week.
I would say that's true.
Or you have to report to Big Brother.
That sounds right. Yeah, because they'd want to know everything that's going on. How many baptisms did you get? Did you stumble? Did you falter? Did you lust in your heart?
Yeah.
Did you masturbate? Did you
Yeah.
leave your companion ever outside of pooping?
Yeah. Because he doesn't have enough time to meet with all of his missionaries one-on-one, so you have to send in a report. Sister missionaries are required to wear modest dresses and skirts and pantyhose and stockings.
I would say that's true.
It was until 2018.
Did they get rid of the pantyhose?
I hope so, because I had to wear pantyhose in Florida.
Pantyhose are gross.
They're gross. It was gross.
They rip all the time. I hate the way that they feel.
yeah.
I can't.
It's gross. But I had to wear pantyhose when it was like 100 degrees with 1,000,000% humidity. It was awful. But in 2018, the church is like, sisters, you can now wear slacks. Ooh, you can wear dress pants.
You can wear pants?
Girls or sister missionaries can now wear slacks.
Oh, scandalous.
That's what I thought when I
Oh
first
my
started.
God. They're just paving the path straight to hell.
They kind of are.
What is next?
yeah.
Lady doctors?
I know, right? Wow.
Pants? That's just right to hell.
Right. But you can't wear them to church just to on your mission. Because when you're riding your bike, could you imagine riding your bike as a sister missionary in a damn skirt?
I did ride my bike in a skirt once.
Did you?
It was very freeing. I loved it. But
Oh, did
mostly
you?
because my skirt was like flying up around me. I was like, this is fun.
I don't think I ever have.
Oh, you should try it. It's really fun.
Okay, I guess I will.
But wear underpants because
I probably should. Okay, last question. Missionaries may only listen to the Mormon Tabernacle Choir and classical music.
I feel like this is a trick question. I know they can't listen to like Nirvana.
Right.
Well, when I would have been serving a mission or when you maybe served your mission. But I would say Mormon Tabernacle, classical, but I would add to that like hymns and such, right? Other stuff outside of Mormon Tabernacle. So I would say like half true, but they could also listen to like churchy music outside of that, right?
Yeah, I think, well, yes, it was true for some and false for others. It depends on your mission president and the rules that he will institute. So I've known of other missionaries that were only allowed to listen to Mormon Tabernacle Choir. That was it. Because a lot of like the Hillary Weeks pop music or David Archuleta like pop music was not okay because it was too poppy. It was too
Filthy.
It's filthy, right?
Dirty.
So I know
It's of the devil.
some missionaries that rule was true, but my mission president allowed me to listen to Disney music.
A whole new
I would have friends. We would have friends back home who would send us like mixtapes because this was like the late '90s of like mixtapes of Disney musicals. And we were like, yes, and we would listen to.
Fucking God.
We were so excited to listen to Disney music. Oh, and my mission president also Emperor's New Groove came out when I was on my mission.
What is that?
Have you not seen Emperor's New Groove?
No.
Oh, it's a Disney movie. It is one of the best. It's about this llama.
She didn't see Emperor's New Groove.
That'll be nice
Trying
time limit. No, it's great. It's got like David Spade, the voice. He was from like SNL and John.
Wow, I never saw it.
It's funny. Like you guys can relate. Emperor's New Groove is great. So we got to go see this. Our mission president gave us permission to go see a Disney movie, but it was like a double date because we went with two elders and my companion and I got to sit next to the guy that had a crush on me. It was like the best date ever.
Did you bump elbows at all?
We kind of bumped elbows.
Did your hands touch in the popcorn bowl?
I kind of did. I feel like I'm in high school. Or even younger. Oh my God.
But you didn't zipper spark.
We did not, darn it. I would have lost blessings that way.
But you would have gotten so many more blessings.
Yeah. Oh, and we weren't allowed to hug either. Like, the elders and the sisters were not allowed to hug. Yeah. We could never hug. It just had to be a handshake. The whole mission.
That's so inhuman.
It kind of is. But, I mean, we got it because, you know, the sisters, the hermanas were like, hermana, and the besos and the brazos. Like,
Could you hug other sisters?
Yeah, you could hug other sisters. But
Just
then,
not the elders.
or the men in the mission. So there were a lot of men. And it's a cultural thing. The men would come to give you a kiss because that's just a...
And you'd have to be like, no.
Exactly. With the men, we had to be like, sorry, we don't do that because we're sisters. And they're like, oh. And they were offended because that was a cultural thing. And we're like, sorry, we can't do that.
You're filthy and I am pure.
Yeah, exactly. So much better than you are. Let me hold your baby.
No, damn it, that's illegal. No baby holding for the Mormons.
So, yeah, that's a mission in a nutshell. I could go on and on because there's so much to talk about it, but...
And we'll definitely probably touch on it again.
Yeah.
And and it's just it's bananas. And I will say, you can add something in conclusion, but I will say, to me, it's just bananas that this organization has somehow, and I understand it after talking, you know, lots with you and other ex-Mormons, but that they've somehow managed to coerce like large groups of people, missionaries, over and over and over again, to go and pay to go there, to work for free, not even work for free, but to pay to work for the church, to bring them more money and backbreaking, grueling 18 months or 2 years to bring more members to the church who are going to give the church money. It's bananas. It would be like if doTERRA is one of the big MLMs here. Mm-hmm. It'd be like if they were like, come work for us. We're not going to pay you. Mm-hmm. You're going to sell for us. We're going to make all the money. And it's a lot of money. And we're going to invest that and, you know, use it to buy up lots of land and continue to enrich ourselves and give ourselves more power. And, yeah, I don't know. You'll get some blessings in the next life. So hang in there until you die.
Yeah, pretty
like
much.
That's, it's wild to me how unscrupulous and disgusting and unethical that is. And it makes me angry. And it's one of the reasons that I speak out, because it just makes me mad that people are so taken advantage of. And I get they're indoctrinated. They've been given this messaging, but the fact that this organization, this just coercive, predatory, harmful organization is doing this to so many people and then getting other people into, I mean, it is an MLM because it just grows and grows and grows. And then you get those people to get people and get those people to get people. You're not paying any of them.
And this is why MLMs are so popular here in Utah. Yeah. How many parties have you been invited to? Have you been invited?
No.
You've never been invited to one.
No, but I see the stuff all over the place. I mean, there's so many different
MLMs.
Because people will just buy into it. They're used to that sort of organization and being told what to do.
And to recruit your friends. Because you do that in the church. Like you become a member missionary, you're supposed to find your neighbors, your friends, your family members who aren't members of the church, and bring them and sell them the gospel as well.
And if you know anyone who's worked for an MLM, and I know various people at different times, it's similar in this way where you like almost can't have a conversation with them without them saying
the business.
Yeah. And one of my favorites was, I'm not doing it for the money. I'm making a lot of money, but I'm not even doing it for that. I'm doing it because I get this product. And you're just like, please shut up and leave me alone. Like, I don't want the thing. And that is the same here. Everyone is already primed for that and primed to be doing that. So there are a gazillion MLMs here that are successful because Mormons are like, oh, hey, I already know how to do this. It's a great business model. I'll just go work for them. At least then they're like, maybe they have the possibility of getting paid in this life.
Right. And return missionaries make great salespeople for these things because they've been doing it for 2 years. They've been
so they got some kind of training.
Except for me. I mean, I hate it. I hate doing sales because it's so triggering because I was trying to sell a product that I did not believe in. And that's also just my personality. I would much rather I'd much rather do public works. I'd love to work with people and serve rather than try to sell a product that I didn't. Though I did try a couple of MLMs and they did not last for very long. But everybody else was doing it, and I was a returned missionary. Damn it, I had to do it.
And it sounds so good.
Duh. It was not. It was not. But I just want to close with saying that yes, it's coercive. It's terrible. It's awful. At the time, missionaries just don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know. And so I don't apologize for doing it. I did it because I felt like I needed to. I needed to get approval from my community and from my parents and from God. Like, I knew that was the step I needed to take to get approval, and people were proud of me for serving. I also had, and for mission, it's really like a lot of shitty things in your life. It is what you make of it. So when I look back on mine, I try to say, like, yes, it sucked, and I got to eat things that I enjoyed from it. And I think a lot of people that did serve missions could probably say the same thing.
And that's great. I'm glad that there were some pros and that there's some things to look at and go, oh, maybe this was a good experience in this way, in that way.
Right. But if I did have a message for any teenage kids, I'd say, don't do it. You can have more fulfilling, beautiful experiences without that coercion, without having to pay to be exploited.
And you have your time to yourself. You have more time to do the things that you want to go exploring, which is what I did in Ecuador. I was traveling all around, smoking the pot, which I didn't like, but
Doing what?
smoking the pot.
Oh. No, what did we learn? What is it called again? Smoking a bowl?
She never heard of smoking a
never
bowl.
heard of
She's
that.
like, what is that? I was like, what is okay? What is smoking a bowl?
I'm learning so much.
How does one bowl smoke?
Right. Oh my gosh. So anyway, we've had so much fun with this episode, and missions.
If you've liked this episode as much as we have, if you like any of our content, please give us a like, especially subscribe anywhere on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Subscribe, like, share, comment, let your friends know. We love that you enjoy our content, and we just want more people to enjoy it. Not as an MLM.
No, not as an MLM. You don't have to sell anything. We promise.
I don't know. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we need an exmormon and everyone walking to a bar missionaries. So sign up. You'll get paid in the afterlife. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Just joking. But a subscribe would be nice.
It would. And if you have any experiences with your mission that you'd like to share, please comment, let us know. And you can find us also on twonomos.com. That's our website. And
Yeah,
we'd love to
we have a
be
website.
We have a website. It's pretty exciting. So, and thanks again to Land of a Thousand Hills. We love it here, and we love being able to connect with you every week. So until next time, everybody, cheers to deconstructing Mormonism.
Mormonism.